Hello there. Cold night to be out for a stroll, ain't it? You wouldn't find me out here if it was up to me, I can tell you. But I've got no choice, have I? It's my job, ain't it? Shepherd, you see. Well, someone's got to keep an eye on the sheep, and I do the short straw this time. I've got the night shift. No fun at all. At least it's a quiet shift, I'll say that. Well, mostly anyway. See that little one there? Dolly, I call her. She got lost last week. I had to shut the rest in the pen and go looking for her. Half the night it took me. But tonight they're all sleeping, so I thought I'd catch up with the washing. It's the socks that are the worst. They do get a bit dirty in this job. Sometimes I just let them soak all night. You look cold. Why don't you join me for a cuppa? I've got a thermos here somewhere. I'm Matthias, by the way, but you can call me Matt, everyone does. And you are? Well, pleased to meet you. It's nice to have a bit of company for a change. This shift gets a bit boring at times. The sheep aren't much for talking, if you see what I mean, and there's not much goes on through the night. Well, there was one night a while back that was different. But you don't want to stop all night listening to me ramble on, do you? Oh, well, if you can't sleep anyway, I might as well tell you about it. It was a quiet night, just like this one. In fact, yeah, I think I'd done a bit of washing then too. And then me and some of the other lads, we'd got together for a game of cards and a cup of tea. Well, we'd hardly dealt the first hand before the game got stopped. Old Reuben saw him first. He got such a fright he leapt to his feet, knocked the table over, and sent cards flying everywhere. Then the rest of us saw him too. He just appeared out of nowhere. He looked like a man, but not like any man I ever saw before. He must have been 8 feet tall if he was an inch, and sort of glowed all over. And the light, brighter than the sun it was. Some of the lads tried to run away, they were so scared. I don't mind admitting I was a bit frightened too. Not that I'm a coward, mind you, but this was real spooky, like something straight out of the X-Files. And then he spoke to us. And what a voice he had. It was like hearing music. But, powerful too, like thunder. Oh, it still sends shivers up my spine, just remembering it now. Don't be afraid, he said. Somehow I wasn't anymore. The fear was gone completely. I could sense that something really important was going on. I bring you good news of great joy for all the world, he went on. Well, that certainly makes a change, I thought. Don't you get sick of hearing nothing but bad news all the time? COVID this, Donald Trump that. I didn't rightly understand all that he said next. He said a saviour had been born in David's town. He must have meant Bethlehem, I guess. Who was Christ the Lord? Well, I was taught the prophecies in school, all about the Messiah, just like everyone else was. But to tell you the truth, I'd never paid much heed before. But now here was this fellow. Well, I reckon he must have been an angel. I don't know what else it could be, saying it had happened. The Messiah had been born, right here in Bethlehem. You'll find him wrapped in strips of cloth and lying in a manger, he said. I know. It sounds pretty far-fetched, doesn't it? You'd expect him to be in a palace somewhere, wearing designer baby clothes from Armani, wouldn't you? But this wasn't the kind of guy you'd argue with. Somehow we all knew if he said it, it must be true. Well, anyway, if his word wasn't good enough, a whole crowd of his mates appeared. They came out of nowhere just like he did. I couldn't even count them. There were so many. They were dancing and singing like they were the biggest party in the world, praising God till they were fit to bust. I'm not boring you with all this, am I? Have some more tea if you like. And then they all disappeared again. Just like that, gone. Well, me and the lads just stood and looked at each other for a moment. I thought at first maybe I'd nodded off and dreamed the whole thing, but I could see from the looks on their faces they'd seen it all too. Well, what do we do now? I asked them. Let's go to Bethlehem, said Reuben. We've got to see this baby for ourselves. And without stopping to think about the sheep, we were off. You should have seen us. We were so excited we were running like Usain Bolt. Even Benjamin, who hasn't walked right since that accident during the shearing 3 years ago. And half the sheep came along too. Sure enough, when we got there, it was just like the angel told us. We found the parents in a cowshed behind the inn. It seems the inn was fully booked. And the baby lying in a manger. I don't think the baby's mother was too pleased to see us at first. She had just got him off to sleep when we arrived, and she was worried all the fuss would wake him up. But when we told her about the angel, well, she seemed to think it was all right for us to have a look at the lad. At first, when the sheep saw the manger, they thought it was feeding time. But when they found there was no food, only a baby, it was funny. They went dead quiet, like they knew he was special. I could swear I saw one of them kneel down in front of him. It was amazing. At first, he just looked like any baby, but when I looked closer, I was sure he had some of that same glow about him that the angel did. I don't know. Maybe I just imagined it. I was so excited. But one thing was for sure, this wasn't just any baby. Then Benjamin remembered the rest of the sheep we'd left in the fields. So we had to go back. But we must have woken the whole town on the way with our singing. We were so happy. And Reuben was banging on all the doors, telling people new the news. I wish you could have been there. It was incredible. Well, anyway, I must do my rounds, make sure the sheep are all safe. You know, they say the baby is the Son of God, come to save us. You know what? I don't doubt it for a minute. You'd believe it too if you saw him.